Bonjour everyone et bienvenue to my Tour de France preview show. Le Grand Boucle starts on Saturday. Florence to Nice. I'm going to take you through my preview now. The route, the stages, the favourites for each jersey, and who else I think we should watch out for and why. So let's crack on. Some housekeeping from me before we crack on with the preview and what to expect from my YouTube and my social media throughout the 3 weeks of the tour. And the big change is that due to my change of job in the new year, I'm not going to be on the ground in the Alps. New job, obviously can't work, can't have holidays rather in term time. So I've got to save it, but I will be at the Tour de France Femme avec Zwift in August. So anyway, what to expect from me? Previews of today of each jersey and who I think is going to win the Tour de France. Um, stage previews in the morning of each stage. Stage reviews either in the evening of or the morning after, depending on work and whether I've finished or whether I'm riding myself or not. We're all very familiar with the route for this year's tour, but I'm going to quickly run through it anyway, give a little who favours who. Sprinters like Jasper Philipsen will favour around 7 stages. Evenepoel, Pogacar will look to take time on GC rivals in the 2 TTs. One gravel stage will lick Van der Poel's lips. That will be the one I think he'll target the most. 5 punchy days for Pogacar to try and put Vingegaard and Visma under some pressure. And then in return, Vingegaard will look to put pressure on Pogacar in the 6 mountain stages with 4 summit finishes. Les Ardennes platted by Ilzola 2000 and Col du Couleur to finish off. We'll start with the best young riders classification. The overall classification for the young riders under the age of 25, although most of the big stars are under the age of 23. So for this classification, so maybe they should change it in the future. Anyway, the favourites for me are Remco Evenepoel and Carlos Rodriguez. Remco's won a Grand Tour and has done very well in Grand Tours last year. It is targeting the GC and stages at the Tour. Rodriguez finished 5th last year on a stage, and I think he's progressed throughout the year. So those two are the top dogs for this young riders classification. Behind them, you've got Matteo Jorgensen, who, depending on situations, will probably be shackled by Vingegaard. Ayuso similarly will be shackled by Pogacar, and I can't remember if Almeida's of the age for the classification, but he would be as well. Pidcock will potentially be looking for stages, mixture of GC, but he's a threat for the young riders classification, not at the level of Rodriguez and Evenepoel. Santiago Buitrago is the last one on my list that I think has a semi-realistic shot of winning the young riders classification. From that, I am going to go for Remco to win the white jersey. The polka dot jersey now, and that is one of the most hotly contested jerseys in the Tour de France. You've got GC riders like Tadej Pogacar, Jonas Vingegaard, who have won it over the last few years. GC guys that have fallen away out of the sort of top 5, top 10 battle, and riders that go even just to target it themselves. Points are allocated at the top of majority of climbs, from 4th cat all the way to horse categories. 4th cats tend to be on the flatter stages. 3rd, 2nd, and some 1st category climbs, intermediate to mountain stages, and Hors category climbs are the big giants of the Alps and of the Pyrenees. That is where you can really win your points. And the Souvenir Henri de Grange this year is on the Cim de la Bonnette, where you can get 40 points if you're the first to the top of that climb. As I said, GC guys, Pogacar and Vingegaard, the favourites for the GC, more often than not the last few years have won the polka dot jersey. I think Felix Gall is out of form for GC, so I think he could really target the King of the Mountains. As with Martinez and Godou from FDJ, Santiago Buitrago for Bahrain, if GC falls away, would be a very good candidate. Giulio Ciccone from Trek, Egan Bernal, mixture of GC, but he could really target the King of the Mountains if he wanted to. Tobias Johannesson, Uno X needs something, needs a spark at the Tour de France, and I think he could do that in the King of the Mountains jersey. And for me, the favourite and the winner, if the GC teams don't do it, is Romain Bardet. He is going with the sole objective to win stages and to win the King of the Mountains jersey. So I think, providing Pogacar and Vingegaard don't, he will win the polka dot jersey. As with the polka dot jersey, the green jersey is a jersey contested by collecting points throughout each stage. You've got two opportunities, one at the intermediate sprint somewhere in the stage, and then at the finish. That is where, particularly on flat stages, the sprinters can really put their money on and get some points there. For example, on a mountain stage or TT, you can get 20 points. On a flat sprint finish, you can get 50 points. Intermediate, the winner gets 20. So if you win the intermediate sprint and a sprint finish on the flat stage, you got 70 points right there. It's not bad at all, is it? Favourites, you've got defending champion Jasper Philipsen, Biniam Gamay, Mads Pedersen will be a big threat. Fabio Jakobsen, probably not, but you never know. Dylan Groenewegen, I think, will be the Dutch's biggest threat for this. And I guess a question mark will be over Wout van Aert. It sounds as though he's going as a domestique, but I'd love him to get some freedom similar to 2022. I just don't think he's got the form to be able to compete for the green jersey. I think it's a pretty obvious winner from that list. Other sprinters, someone like Cav, for example, aren't targeting the green jersey. Probably Jakobsen and Groenewegen as well. Jasper Philipsen, for me, is going to dominate the green jersey and win it very comfortably. Before we get on to the GC battle, I've got some riders to watch. These are riders that won't be in the battle for the yellow, green, polka dot Young Riders jersey, but I think they will do really well and shine throughout the 3 weeks. The big one is world champion Mathieu van der Poel. He's going to race his 8th day of racing on the first day of the Tour de France, road racing on the first day of the Tour de France this year. And he could conceivably take yellow on that day as well. It's not a GC type stage unless Pogacar wants to take on and really test Vingegaard's resolve. But Van der Poel could get there, Van der Poel could win. He will also look to target the gravel stage. That will be another big one on his list. And a few intermediate stages. Otherwise, it will be helping Jasper Philipsen through the lead outs in the sprints. Israel come with a dynamic duo, I think, of Stevie Williams and Derek G. I think Derek G could be a sneaky card for the top 10. Hottake.com. But I think their target will be stage wins. Williams is a punchy climber, Derek G a bit more of the grindy type climber. So they can win in two different ways, and I think they may pick up one. DSM have a young Brit, young Scot, called Oscar Onley, and he's going to the Tour, which is a big surprise to me. He won at Wollonga Hill, I believe, even a faster time than Richie Porte, and he's come out of injuries, yet another broken collarbone, and has looked brilliant at the Tour de Suisse. So I expect him to be in play for stages. Maybe the King of the Mountains jersey, I don't know. Lotto, new Belgian champion Arnaud Delis. I don't see him competing for the green jersey. Consistency is an issue for him. But I expect him to be up there mixing it up in a few of the flat stages and a few of the more intermediate sprint type stages. Maybe one with a climb towards the end of it. Ola Lascano will look to the gravel stage. He won Classica Haiyan earlier this year, and I think he could really target that gravel stage. He also did a good climb in GC at the Dauphiné, so let's see what he can do in support of Mas or on his own. Ben Healy seems to be coming into some form for EF. He'll be able to support Carapaz on the intermediate stages, so like the first and second stage, and then maybe get opportunities himself, maybe on the gravel, maybe and more likely on the intermediate punchy days. Kevin Vauquelin is one of the up and coming French climbers, sort of GC-ish types. I think he'll be looking for breakaways and stage wins rather than trying to hang on for a top 11, top 15 at the GC. The final two are another two Brits. The first one being Tom Pidcock. We don't know quite what we're going to get from him. He said today that he wants to target stage wins, and I think he can certainly do that. I think he could certainly target stage one, similarly to Van der Poel, similarly to Narvaez at the Giro, but I think certainly the Galibier stage finish in Valois is certainly one that he can target. As for GC, top 5 to top 10, somewhere in that, probably 8th to 12th on GC. I just hope with him that if Rodriguez is on for a podium or near the podium in the last week, they put Pidcock to one side and fully go in for Carlos Rodriguez. The final one, nearly all of us want to see it. Project 35 for Mark Cavendish. Do I think he's going to do it? I don't know, but I think if he gets one chance, he is that type of sprinter still that he just needs that one chance, that one day to go right. Philipsen hasn't been as dominant in the sprints this year. Maybe there's a small amount of hope compared to previous years. We can dream. Project 35. Is it going to happen? Let me know. And finally, the big one. The Malliot Jaune, the yellow jersey of this year's Tour de France. It's likely to be settled in the third week, but you need to be in pretty good shape from day one. It sounds like Pogačar is. Vingegaard's unknown. Roglic and Evenepoel had work to do from the Dauphiné. In fact, everyone had work to do from the Dauphiné. And everyone bar Yates and Almeida had work to do after Tour de Suisse. Where will they be? Who knows? But this is my list of favourites. At Visma, we've got the defending champion and the big favourite for me, if he's okay, is Jonas Vingegaard. He's there. I think they wouldn't take him if he wasn't in a position to win the race. So for me, he is there to win, and he will try and win. Behind them, I mentioned him for the young riders, but they've got Matteo Jorgensen. In the absence of Sepp Kuss, he will become their biggest domestique. We know the engine he's got from Paris-Nice when he followed Evenepoel, and his podium finish in the GC at the Dauphiné. Oh, he also won Paris-Nice. If he's let off the leash, he will top 10. I think he might anyway. But he'll be at the services of Vingegaard. UAE come with the most stacked team potentially ever. 4 riders could hit the podium. They could conceivably 1, 2, 3. Giro champion Tadej Pogačar. Tour de Suisse champion Adam Yates. Tour de Suisse second place on GC Joao Almeida. And Juan Ayuso. Juan Ayuso, I think, will be the one that misses out on the GC battle the most. We didn't get to see how good his form was at the Dauphiné. I think he'll be parked. I think he'll be in domestique mode. Similar to Almeida, Yates and Pogačar are the ones that I think that they could use to attack. Certainly Pogačar. If Vingegaard is good, which I think he will be, they need to use Adam Yates similarly to the way Vingegaard and Roglic rode something like the Grandon stage in 2022. Just ping attack, attacks, ping attacks. Ultimately, we'll know then if Vingegaard's any good. For me, Pogacar's the favourite of the team. He's had a bit of a cold recently, so he's in the best shape ever, of course. Um, but I really hope they give Adam Yates a shot at the stage when he's deserves it. He's brilliant, and he's really stepped up. Borak and with Roglic, Vlasov, and Hindley, they are all behind Roglic, but I think personally they should look to play cards aggressively and see what happens. Roglic is the third or fourth favourite to win the race, and he's a distance behind Vingegaard and Pogacar, and he is even behind Adam Yates. Remco, first Tour de France, can he get that consistency? Will he have a bad day like he did at the Vuelta last year? Carlos Rodriguez, Pidcock and Bernal for Ineos Grenadiers. They can race aggressively. They've actually got the team, unlike at the Giro, to race aggressively. And I really hope they do. Best bet for them as a podium. And a couple of stage wins. Elsewhere, Carapaz and Mas are up and down. And Simon Yates is very up and down as well, so we don't know. My prediction is a very difficult one to predict. There are unknowns about Pogacar, Giro Tour double. There are unknowns about Vingegaard, hasn't raced since the crash. I think they'll both be good. I think maybe we might see weaknesses from both of them in the third week, but they'll have built that time and they'll be better than everyone anyway. Tadej Pogacar, I say at the moment, is going to win the Tour de France and complete the Giro Tour double. I just think the way UAE have set up this year is solely to do the double, and I think Tadej is going to do it. Podium, I'm going to go for Vingegaard and Remco. Fourth place, I'm going to go for Rodriguez, and fifth, I'm going to go for Primoz Roglic. I think he is on the way down, whereas Remco is up and Rodriguez is up. I just hope Remco finds that consistency.